Tyson Fury's mindset and the potential consequences of his actions. Here's how the narrative unfolds. In the dimly lit ambience of a bar in Manchester, a towering figure walked in, carrying not only his impressive physical stature, but a heavy emotional burden. Tyson Fury, the once undefeated heavyweight boxing champion of the world, was grappling with the aftermath of his shocking defeat against Ukraine's Oleksandr Usyk. The loss had shaken him to his core, stirring up emotions that he struggled to contain. This night was not just a casual outing for the Gypsy King. It would turn into a catastrophe that could potentially derail his entire career. Those present at the bar later described Fury as arriving in a visibly agitated state. His usual bravado and larger-than-life persona seemed cloaked in tension. This wasn't the same Tyson Fury who had once electrified arenas around the world with his charisma and in-ring prowess. Witnesses described his demeanor as dark and intense, as though he was carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Within minutes of his arrival, Fury headed straight to the bar. His actions felt deliberate, with a singular purpose: to drown his sorrows in alcohol. The weight of his recent loss against Usyk, his first defeat in years, was all too evident. His pain wasn't just physical from the bruising 12-round match. It was the psychological blow of losing his unbeaten record, and with it, his WBC heavyweight title. The sense of invincibility that had once defined him was now shattered. The fight in Saudi Arabia between Fury and Usyk was one of the most highly anticipated heavyweight clashes of the decade. Both fighters were undefeated and carried the weight of their legacies into the ring. The match was intense, with Fury suffering a split decision loss. The fight itself was a showcase of skill and power, but in the later rounds, Fury began to falter. Usyk, known for his technical precision, capitalized on Fury's fatigue. A pivotal moment came in the 9th round when Fury's nose was bloodied, and his rhythm seemed to break. Usyk's swift combinations culminated in a brutal left hook that left Fury dazed. The referee administered an 8 count as Fury struggled to regain his footing, his legs barely supporting him. The ropes seemed to be the only thing keeping him from hitting the canvas. The judge's decision was met with mixed reactions, but Fury, having lost by a narrow margin, couldn't accept the result. His belief that the match had been unfairly judged consumed him. Some witnesses at the bar heard him vocalize these thoughts, ranting about the referee's alleged bias, suggesting that Usyk's Ukrainian nationality had played a role in the outcome due to the ongoing war with Russia. Fury felt that the sympathy for Usyk had clouded the referee's judgment, robbing him of his victory. As the drinks kept flowing, Fury's mood darkened. What started as an attempt to numb the pain slowly escalated into something more dangerous. His words, which had initially been slurred and incoherent, soon took on a menacing tone. Witnesses reported hearing Fury mention Usyk repeatedly, cursing under his breath and becoming visibly agitated. At one point, he even started making violent threats, boasting that he could kill anyone in the room if he wanted to. For those familiar with the man, this was not the Fury they knew. The usually jovial and charismatic figure had transformed into someone unstable and volatile. His imposing size, standing at 6'9", and weighing over 260 pounds, coupled with his drunken rage, made the situation in the bar tense and dangerous. Onlookers, who had initially gathered around to see the heavyweight champion up close, began to distance themselves. The mood had shifted from excitement to fear. Inevitably, the tension reached a boiling point. According to witnesses, Fury got into a physical altercation with another patron who had made an offhand comment about his recent loss. Enraged, Fury lunged at the man, throwing punches wildly. What started as a verbal exchange quickly turned into a full-blown bar fight. Chairs were knocked over, glasses shattered, and patrons scrambled to get out of the way. The bouncers, now referred to by fans on social media as Britain's bravest bouncers, immediately stepped in. Despite Fury's size and the chaotic atmosphere, they managed to restrain him. Video footage, which later went viral, showed two security guards escorting the visibly intoxicated Fury out of the bar. The viral video would cement this moment as a public spectacle, spreading Fury's humiliating ordeal far and wide. By the time the police arrived, Fury was in no mood to cooperate. Still drunk and irate, he refused to be arrested, arguing that his anger was justified. Reports indicated that he continued to claim that the fight against Usyk had been rigged and that the world was conspiring against him. His refusal to calm down, coupled with the threats he had made earlier in the night, forced the police to use restraint techniques to subdue him. The sight of Tyson Fury, the former heavyweight champion of the world, being handcuffed and led away by police officers was surreal for fans and witnesses alike. It marked a dramatic fall from grace for the man, once known as the Gypsy King. As he was placed into the back of a police van, Fury allegedly muttered that it was all a misunderstanding, that he'd simply had one drink too many. The incident has now cast a long shadow over Fury's future in boxing. With his rematch against Usyk scheduled for December 21st, questions arose as to whether he would even be able to compete. Would his legal troubles and the potential jail time prevent him from stepping back into the ring? If convicted of the charges stemming from the bar brawl and the threats he made, Fury could face severe consequences, including the possibility of losing his boxing license. Fans and analysts alike are now speculating about what comes next for Fury. He had already activated the rematch clause following his loss to Usyk, determined to reclaim his title and restore his legacy. However, the fight is now in jeopardy due to his arrest. Usyk, meanwhile, remains focused on defending his newly won titles, though the uncertainty surrounding Fury's availability casts doubt on whether the rematch will proceed as planned. In the days following the incident, Fury's camp attempted to downplay the situation. A source close to Fury told The Sun that the champion had simply been out with friends and had gotten a little too drunk. Fury himself, in an attempt to salvage his public image, released a statement claiming that it was all a misunderstanding, that he had been enjoying a night out and had let his emotions get the best of him. But for those who witnessed the chaos firsthand, this explanation rang hollow. Fury's behavior that night was far from ordinary, and the damage to his reputation may be irreparable. For a man who has often prided himself on his mental resilience, having openly discussed his battles with depression and addiction, this incident seems to represent a significant setback. His fans, many of whom had looked up to him not only as a boxer, but as a symbol of perseverance, are left wondering if the Gypsy King can bounce back from this latest blow. Fury's journey has always been one of highs and lows, but this particular low threatens to derail everything he's worked for. Despite the immediate fallout from the incident, Tyson Fury remains focused on one goal: reclaiming his title from Oleksandr Usyk. The rematch, should it still take place, will be one of the most anticipated fights in recent boxing history. But for Fury, it's not just about the belts, it's about redemption. His defeat to Usyk, combined with the public humiliation of his arrest, has left him with no choice but to fight for his legacy. The question on everyone's mind is whether Fury can pull himself out of this downward spiral. Can he overcome the legal challenges, the public scrutiny, and the internal demons that have plagued him throughout his career? Or will this latest incident mark the beginning of the end for one of boxing's most colorful and controversial figures? As the December 21st rematch date approaches, fans will be watching closely. Will Fury be able to secure his release from jail